X1039, it's the AMX. Doug, Steven, Veronica, very happy to have special guest on the phone from Avenged Sevenfold, M.Shadows. What's going on, Matt?
Just hanging out, man. Hanging out in Huntington. Glad to be home for a minute.
Okay, yeah, that's what we were wondering, if you were just chilling at home right now.
Yeah, you know, we just got back from South America, and then we got like a week or 2 weeks, or actually 11 days, and we leave for a Maiden tour in Europe for 6 weeks.
Haven't you guys toured enough the past year and a half or so?
Oh, man. No. The crazy thing is, you know, we got, like, since on the last record, we really tried to open up the band worldwide. So we were doing Southeast Asia for the first time and doing a bunch of new markets. And now that we've kind of opened it all up, we have to hit everywhere, like, twice before a record's done, you know. So we're still, you know, we still haven't hit up Europe yet. We still haven't hit up Eastern Canada. And then we got to hit everything again. So it's crazy.
All right, now you guys just finished up with Taste of Chaos a little while ago. How was that?
It was a great tour. You know, we got to really, bring our live show to the level we wanted to bring it to. You know, watching Maiden for so many years and watching all these big bands, we really wanted to give kids the experience that we had when we were younger with the big rock show. And I think what we did was we just tried to get every little cent we could and saved every penny, and we put it all into the production. We have. You know, we made this huge production for kids that have never seen that sort of thing because bands aren't really doing that anymore nowadays. And so it was a dream come true for us because every night we got to see the looks on the kids' faces. And, you know, the parents that were there with them were just like, oh, my God, this is crazy with all the pyro and video and crazy stuff we had going on. So it was a dream come true for us. We played really well every night, and we had some good friends out there with us, which were Bullet from a Valentine and Atreyu.
Yeah, actually, just today we got to see video from the live footage that you guys took when you were here in town in Long Beach for the performance of Afterlife, and it's got some great pyro in that song.
Yeah, and that's minuscule compared to what the rest of the show is. So it's really cool. We're really excited about it, and the DVD came out amazing. And we're really excited about that, too.
It sounds like Gene Simmons would be proud of you guys.
He'd be so proud.
No, it's great that you have an attitude about putting on a huge show, especially because, you know, you have some bands with people in their effort to try and seem like, hey, we're down to earth, you know, can put on a show that's actually boring, and you guys are definitely not in that genre.
Oh, my God, nothing makes me more upset than that. I hate seeing bands that are down to earth. I personally want to see rock stars. I go to a show, if I go to a movie, I want to see, you know, some crazy stuff, or I want to see something that's like got an emotional attachment to it. And when you go see bands that are just like, oh, we're the normal people, normal Joe on the street, I just want to put on this lazy show and hoard all the money to myself. I hate that. I like to see, you know, we like to get our money and put it back into the show and give kids something worth their ticket, you know, because we don't want to. You know, we want these kids to come back, and we want them to be excited to come see Avenged Sevenfold when we do come around. Other
than yourselves, obviously, what are some other bands that you would put in that same category that you'd pay to see?
Well, Iron Maiden to me is the ultimate. When I saw them for the first time and played with them in Germany 3 years ago, and they put on the greatest show of all time. Motley Crue puts on a great show. You know, they're not one of my favorite bands, but they put on a great show, and you want to go see them. There's not many that do it. Metallica puts on a great show. But Iron Maiden, to me, puts on the ultimate show. I think AFI always put on a good show for, you know, at the level they were at. You know, when I used to go see them in clubs, they used to really try to do things to make the show really eerie and dark and cool and put a vibe out there. And Davey's a rock star, and that's really cool. But there's not many bands that I really want to go see at this point. But Maiden, to me, is number one.
Well, you're mentioning bands like Iron Maiden, Metallica, Motley Crue. I know recently you guys collaborated with Good Charlotte on one of their songs. How did that come about?
What's up with that?
Oh, well, Benji and Joel are two of my best friends. Known them since the Warped Tour days. And, you know, no matter what they go through, what they're doing, we're really supportive of them. And we were actually recording. I was actually producing a band in L.A. at that time, and they called me, said, come down and listen to the tracks. Went down there, just sang on it. It wasn't even going to make the record, and then the label heard it, and they made it the first single. So we were just always supportive of them, and we love those guys, and those guys will always be supportive of us.
Is that just an OC thing? You guys all stick together?
You know what? Yeah, you know, friendship's always stronger than anything anyone else can say about it, you know. And when you get those guys alone and you're friends with them, and it's always cool with us and them. So we always, you know, we're never going to, you know, stab our friends in the back or say anything bad about people that we truly respect and love.
As far as I was thinking about Taste of Chaos, you guys were out with Atreyu and Bullet, Bless the Fall, Idiot Pilot. How different are the tours different based on what other bands you're playing with, or is it pretty much the same, or does it make a huge difference what bands you're playing with as far as being more fun or more of a kind of a grind?
It definitely makes a difference. You know, I think we were kind of, Avenged was kind of getting like, we were in this mode on tour where we're kind of going through the motions, not on stage, but just throughout our daily lives and our after stage activities. And I think Bullet for My Valentine really probably kicked us back 5 years into when we used to be a little wilder, because those guys are out of their minds. And so when we started hanging out with them again and being on that tour, the tour instantly became so much fun. We instantly went to Australia with them after the tour, and we just started, you know, going crazy again. It turned into a real rock and roll tour because, you know, there's just personalities on the tour. There's like certain personalities that they just click, and we became really good friends with them. And I think that tour became such a blast because of those guys on the tour.
So you guys are like the king of the OC hardcore scene. But that's kind of behind you. Do you still feel like you guys are a part of it, or do you feel like that was then and this is now?
No, I think that, you know, like when we first started hardcore, you know, when we first started playing, you know, hardcore music, it was so much different than it is now. And, you know, OC just had a scene coming up. We had, you know, Bleeding Through coming up and 18 Visions, and those guys were all guys that went to my high school with me, and they were all older. Like, you know, they were seniors when I was a freshman, and we really looked up to those guys, and we started playing music. And we knew that we saw it with those bands. As soon as you started getting any success, all the kids started turning their back on you. And so we knew from very early on that if we were going to try to make this band like a big band, that kids were going to turn their back on us. So we never really tried to connect too much with that scene. We played some shows. Kids were, you know, all about it. And then as soon as we started selling some records, they turned their back, which we knew they would. So we just kind of left it and didn't really ever look back. But, you know, there's a lot of bands like Atreyu and Bleeding Through that kind of came out of it, and we're still really good friends with all the bands, just kind of the kids just kind of like, oh, that band's lame, you know, they don't play showcase theater anymore.
Well, of course, you're only cool if no one likes you, right?
Exactly. That's the hardcore scene for you. But I think, you know, what's funny about it is then you get to a point where kids start coming back and they like you again, because it's so cool not to like you that kids think it's, like, cool to like you again. So it's weird. You know, I get a lot of kids that used to just hate our guts, and now they come up and they're like, they love, you know, the new record, or they love City of Evil or something. So it's like, okay, whatever, that's cool.